In just a few hours, football history turned 2 pages. One is the story of a young German, shaped by Bavarian football. The other, a little Belgian prince who became a king in England, Thomas Müller, Kevin De Bruyne. 2 careers, 2 stories, each worth a closer look. How did this tall, awkward-looking guy, good at everything but not great at anything, become the ultimate weapon against modern systems? And how did an attacking midfielder, rejected by Jose Mourinho, come back to dominate the best league in the world? There are questions, and yes, there will be answers. With news of their departures from Bayern and City, Müller and De Bruyne leave behind a massive void. On the pitch, in terms of image, charisma, and above all, a rare kind of simplicity we almost never see in football anymore. Funny, unique, brilliant, real. This is a well-earned tribute to 2 true legends of the past 15 years. Sliding between midfield and defense, opening space, helping others score. That was their mission. Their first touch, their vision, and that shot that bends into the top corner. With these 2, danger came from anywhere, especially where you weren't looking. Just saying Kevin De Bruyne's name gives you chills. He's what we'd call a football chef. Yes, it's made up, but it fits. Because in Kevin's football, every ingredient is perfect. Every pass, every 1-2, every cross to the far post, the weight of his touch, the finesse, the timing, all done with surgical precision. Sure, it's easy to see the best option from your couch, but anyone who's ever played knows what he does is not easy. Reading the game, measuring space and pressure, timing a perfect pass. With number 17, it's Christmas every day. But what really sets De Bruyne apart is that he can do it again and again. 4, 5, 6 times a match, perfectly weighted every time. That's why people say he plays simple football, or rather, football that looks simple. Kevin's brain? It's somewhere else entirely because, honestly, you're not on his level. To keep City from becoming a parody of tiki-taka, Pep Guardiola built a game that moved forward, less side to side, more lethal. Every pass had to break a line, every touch had to create something. And Kevin? He was the magician, the puppeteer, pulling strings, making others shine, stopping City from looking like they were just passing for fun. Guardiola? He just smiled and watched, because this kid, he became his pillar, and for many, the greatest player in City's history. When a guy thinks more about assists than goals, it shows how generous he is. He makes others better. But don't worry, Thomas Müller is no amateur. Even if his game is harder to define, just like his Belgian counterpart, Müller has something special too. A truly brilliant passer. Once again, the weight of the touch is the common thread. Müller delivered passes from everywhere, with the inside of the foot, off the chest, perfectly weighting every little layoff. We often forget how hard that is, because with Thomas Müller, everything looks so simple. Elegance and class weren't part of his style. The grace of Zidane or Riquelme stayed in the locker room. The German did things differently, without necessarily leaving a glamorous impression. For years, analysts tried to explain his game, his role, his movement. They never agreed, except on one point. Whatever Müller did, he did it well, simply and instinctively. Even the greatest minds sometimes struggled to describe his qualities. At Bayern, one man truly understood Thomas Müller's essence and his endless thirst for space: Pep Guardiola. In 2015, Müller was coming off 2 underwhelming seasons. The coach had shuffled him around, left wing, right wing, false 9 like Messi, true striker like Lewandowski. Müller couldn't find his place, and he made sure Pep knew it. That summer, Guardiola revolutionized his offensive setup to unlock Müller's full potential and make him the world's first Raumdeuter. Like a chess player, Müller excelled in anticipation, movement, and reading opponents. So Guardiola gave him complete freedom, just behind the beast that was Lewandowski. Müller prowled around the box, ready to pounce on any loose ball. The results? 32 goals for Müller himself. Guardiola understood. Guardiola adapted. Müller shined again. The Spaniard realized Müller didn't need rigid patterns. He needed room to roam, room to let his instincts take over. The idea of the Raumdeuter is abstract. It's close to a false nine, but not quite. The difference, only Müller can truly play that role. He never gets injured. He runs everywhere. He rarely makes mistakes. He harasses defenders until the final second. Tireless, efficient, intelligent, a coach's dream. Naturally, Guardiola knew how special these two players were. It was also Pep who helped De Bruyne reach an entirely new level. In 2016, when he arrived in Manchester, Pep experimented with KDB's position, sometimes forward, sometimes attacking midfielder, sometimes even a wing-back. No matter where he played, De Bruyne kept delivering. 18 Premier League assists, even without a clear role. During that time, he learned to adapt, to anticipate, to understand every movement around him. That's when Guardiola realized just how rich De Bruyne's tactical toolbox really was. So Pep placed him in his sweet spot, the right side of central midfield, and made him what he would call his. De Bruyne controls the tempo, slowing it down, speeding it up, opening new possibilities. From that right half space, he sends the ball into the box, and the magic follows. Take this move, for example. Professor KDB gives us a masterclass. Chapter 1. Information gathering. Chapter 2. Finding space, creating the angle. Chapter 3. The final glance. Chapter 4. The whipped cross, perfectly delivered. Simplicity, activity, efficiency, the Belgian dishes out gifts. And now and then, unleashes a rocket. His assists are crafted to the millimeter. But his shots, that's a different story. That is magnificent. A moment of world-class difference. And speaking of goals, when you watch a De Bruyne highlight reel, a clear pattern emerges. Long-range strikes, often from the edge of the box. You can see the midfielder's signature on every shot. But with Thomas Müller, it's a little different. The German has scored nearly 300 career goals, and the problem, or maybe the beauty of it, is that there isn't a single goal that truly stands out. Sometimes watching Thomas Müller score makes you wonder, did he actually mean to do that? Was he really trying to shoot? Was that assist a flick off the back of his head on purpose? Of course, the answer is yes, we all know it. It's not always pretty, not very elegant, but in the end, Bayern or Germany scores, and that's what matters. In his own way, Müller has recreated some of the most iconic goals in football history, just less beautifully. The Rooney bicycle kick, Cristiano's towering header, Pauletta's curl, Van Persie's flying volley. Thomas has scored versions of all of them, but nobody remembers because they didn't look as good. As of April 2025, Thomas Müller is on the verge of something historic, 300 goals and 300 assists. Only one other player has ever done that, and you know who it is. From 2009 to 2022, 13 seasons in a row, Müller, apart from 2016 and 2019, was never involved in fewer than 30 goals per season. Often more, 44, 54. His consistency was extraordinary, and because he made it look so normal, people just stopped paying attention. Mourinho once said, "When you break through young, people forget your age. They take everything you do for granted," and that's what happened with Thomas Müller. He was never called old. He was just always there, always performing, without ever changing his game. Same celebration, same spark. Nearly 300 times, Müller celebrated like it was his first. No knee slides, no TikTok dances, no flashy celebrations. Carles Puyol once snubbed him on the pitch. But Müller? He didn't care. That's Thomas. His style avoids flash. He almost never does anything ugly, but when it happens, it's chaotic. He stumbles, falls, looks uncoordinated, nothing planned, not even in training, and Müller laughs about it. He dribbles into space like a kid messing around with friends. At Bayern, fans bought jerseys with Robben, Ribéry, or Lewandowski on the back. But honestly, have you ever seen a Bayern kit with Thomas Müller on it? Has a kid ever said, "When I grow up, I want to be like Thomas Müller"? No, nobody ever says that. In Germany, he's never won Player of the Season. In Bavaria, he's not even the most famous Müller. At the Ballon d'Or, we mention him, but we never reward him. That anti-star label? It sticks to Kevin De Bruyne too. He's more marketable, but still lives in the shadow of flashier names. And yet, we've come to understand De Bruyne can do it all, including dribbling, which we don't talk about enough. He's not the fastest. He doesn't fly past defenders, but his dribble is smart. It tricks you. It uses your movement against you. Much like Toni Kroos, De Bruyne uses a slow fake, a subtle shift to leave his marker off balance. His first touch is sharp, and his work rate massive. He's not Neymar, he's not Vinicius, but he drives the team forward, and that's what counts. De Bruyne and Müller will both leave European football, having left behind two very different legacies, each in their own way, each with their own strengths, their own personalities. But there's one small difference. Kevin De Bruyne, for the past few years, has been the best playmaker in the world. As for Müller, he was never the best at anything. De Bruyne is always picked first by the one who brought the ball. Müller, he never catches anyone's eye, but once the game begins, he's the one who makes you win it. That right there, that's the subtle difference between the two. De Bruyne is a complete midfielder. Müller, he doesn't fit into any category. He doesn't like being called a striker, but he's not really a midfielder either. He's like a chess piece you place somewhere, only to find him somewhere else 5 minutes later. In a sport where everything has a label, Müller carved out his own path, a style, a position, a kind of madness entirely his own. And maybe, just maybe, he's the perfect image of the ideal German footballer. Not a superstar, not wildly popular, but a champion, a killer, efficient, disciplined, someone who knows his role and never tries to do more than what's needed. We're really going to miss them. The oddball brilliance of Thomas Müller, the strength and precision of Kevin De Bruyne. 2025 hits hard for Bavarian football, but not just there, for the whole footballing world, because these two giants with their intelligence, vision, and love for the game might just become legendary managers in the years to come. The cheerful chaos of the German, goodbye. The direct, disciplined honesty of the Belgian, goodbye as well. Two unique personalities, and two names we may hear again, this time from the dugout. Because just like their shirt numbers, they never fit the mold. Not number 10s, not number 9s, not your classic 7s either. They took what was available, showed up to training, and got to work. No flash, no drama, just football. Thomas Müller is one of the last true one-club men. In today's world, where football moves faster than ever, he stayed. He turned down every offer, because to him, home was always Munich, Bavaria, nowhere else. In short, simple guys, straight shooters, brilliant in their own way, players obsessed with winning and with figuring out how to win. Two exceptional footballers, two symbols of their clubs, their DNA, and their lasting history.